Okay, just a heads up for everyone here in the room. A couple things. We will continue to bring in the Champ 4 drivers until we've hit all 4, obviously. Ross is going to be on his way soon. All right, we've now been joined by Ross Chastain, who drives the #1 Chevrolet for Trackhouse Racing. We're going to let him take a drink of water. We'll get started here. First off, Ross, congratulations on advancing to the Final Four. If you don't mind, tell us a little bit about the race from your seat in the race car, but then also take us through those final laps as you advance there at the very end to make the race next week in Phoenix.
Yeah, our race car was better starting the weekend than we were in the spring. We qualified 27th in the spring, and we qualified 9th here, and felt like we made a solid improvement. And if we could keep the rear tires on the car, we would have a shot. And we were just way too loose most of the beginning of the race, just especially corner entry and exit, and even the center, the first stage, and then tightened it up, and we're still really loose corner entry and exit. And I thought we got our balance pretty close early in stage 3, somewhere in there, or maybe it was stage 2, but I really didn't have a lot more to ask for from Phil for balance, but ultimately got into the 6. I just drove in too deep to 3. When they checked up, I couldn't turn, and I got into him. So I'm sorry and tried to pay it back to Brad to let him go, and I thought I'd just follow him back up through there to get to 7th, 8th, 9th place, and I was just stuck in 12th, 13th, somewhere in there, and I couldn't pass. So even when we had it tight enough late in the race, I still was too loose on entry and exit to either get position on exit to pull out of line or gain ground on entry. I was just really loose and locking the left front. So we didn't have the pace that we needed to do. I mean, we ran 9th in both stages, and we're going to run around 10th or 12th there at the end, and that just wasn't enough. That's not what you need to do here in the Cup Series in the second to last race to transfer. And double checked off turn 2 on the final lap. Brandon and Phil both talked on each other, but I heard yes, 2 spots garbled up, but I knew that must be what they meant, and was fully committed down the back, grabbed 5th gear, and took my hands off the wheel once I first hit the wall.
All right, we're going to go to questions for Ross.
You think they have questions?
I think they do. They've been waiting.
I have questions.
They've been waiting for you.
Why did that work?
And I hope you get used to answering a lot of questions. You're going to be doing that often this week, so we're going to warm up your voice here. We are going to start with Kelly.
Kelly, CrandallRacer.com. Ross, you said on the last lap you knew you needed the positions and you were committed down the backstretch, but when did that move first come into your mind? Was it today? Was it this week? Was it long ago? Like, when did you think, okay, this is in my playbook?
I think the first time I ever saw a race car do that was on a video game, the GameCube 2005, the GameCube console. I don't know if anybody else in the world had those, but we did, and my brother Chad beat me doing it at the fictitious, I think it was Dodge Raceway in somewhere in a fake city or somewhere in Florida, and we would always race there. And I never thought about it. Like, our prep this week, it never crosses my mind. I've done a lot of sim work this week, a lot of iRacing, a lot of stuff, and a lot of laps here virtually, and never once did it ever cross my mind, or did I try it. So I want to make that clear. The last time would have been a long time ago, before I was ever even thinking about being a NASCAR driver, and it flashed back in my head on the white flag, and I double checked off of 2, and I just through 1 and 2, I think we need 2 spots, and they said yes, and I was like, what, if it wrecks, okay, we don't make it, but it might work, so I'll try it.
Justin Mark said it's a testament to your commitment and your competitive mindset, and that there's no rules in your world. So I guess is that accurate, that, as you said, why not try it, and if it works, it works. If not, then you crashed, but you tried?
Well, I thought, why not? And that's a motto that some buddies and I have back home. We live by why not, and to apply that to the Cup Series, in this scenario, there are rules. There are a lot of rules out here, and I didn't know how it would all work out. I didn't know if the physics would work to make it around the corner, but it did, and I'm sure glad it did.
All right, we're going to continue with questions. We'll go to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. A few things. Ross, can you just take me through what it felt like, and what questions? You said you have questions. What questions do you have after making this move, and just what it felt like that last part to do that?
Yeah, so when I came off turn 4, I saw the 11, and I ran in the back of the 6 again. So I knew that it should work, but my brain could not comprehend. My bandwidth was shot when I entered turn 3, and I grabbed 5th gear, and everything went blurry. I couldn't comprehend it, so I had to ask, and I saw Justin and Brooke, our gas man, grabbing each other and celebrating on the big screen in the infield, and I thought that must be a good sign. But yeah, I questioned it, when I grabbed 5th, and I was like, well, it's going now. Like, my foot stayed down. I committed to the wall early, and it didn't slow down, so it worked.
I guess, what's the wiring of somebody's mind to point a car into the wall and floor it, grab 5th gear, and do it? I mean, that just seems to go against every basic survival instinct. So how do you do that?
It was fight or flight, because we were out, and we had already fought trying to stay in, trying all year, right? Everything we've done, the points we've accumulated, and we fought for it, right? The last pit stop was incredible, but the wiring in my head, I'm an organ donor, so maybe they'll study it one day.
What does it mean to?
I mean, I really am an organ donor, so I think everybody should be.
What does it mean to get in with this path that you've taken? And it's unlike a lot of others that have reached this level, but there are certainly a number of drivers that have been at your level that had those dreams of being in this position, and now you've reached it after being probably about as low as you can be in this sport and still being in it.
What's wild, man, is might call it low, but we were building this thing, and I needed time to learn this. If I would have showed up, I did show up in race winning equipment in 2013, and Eric Jones beat me at Phoenix. Like, we had the truck that could have won if I would have asked for some different adjustments and known what to ask for the end of the race. I needed time, and those team owners through Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup that gave me the time, I owe so much to. That's through the middle part of what I guess call my career here in NASCAR. And if you just go back 2 years, the fall Southern 500 at Darlington, went there with Spire Motorsports, and our goal was to finish like single-digit number of laps down. They bought sticker tires for the whole weekend. We had a podcast sponsoring us through T-shirts that we sold that didn't even have my name on it. But I got to go race the fall Darlington race in a Cup car to keep building my notebook, and we won our race. We beat the car we wanted to beat that day. That was 2 years ago. Like, we came back this year, and we had chances to win both Darlington races. Last fall in the 42, we had chances to win the Southern 500. So if you just go back 2 calendar years, I was the guy 5 laps down, 7 laps down, something like that. And those were good nights. Those were wins in our book. And those moments and those nights and those races and those laps are a big reason why I feel like I'm able to do what I can do now.
All right, we're going to go to Jeff.
First of all, I'm having a hard time keeping a straight face here. But the other drivers, they thought your move was cool, but now some of them are saying, we need to actually get a policy against this ASAP kind of thing, because this could be possible at Phoenix, this could be possible elsewhere. What are your thoughts on a Chastain rule? Like, do you want the door to be closed behind you after this move, or do you want it to stay open in NASCAR's eyes?
That's for our people that we have appointed that the sport has put in those positions to make those decisions, Jeff, I'm just not been around long enough to even have an opinion on it. Yeah, look, do I want us all coming to the ends of these races and just flooring it? Like, no, it doesn't. No, that's not what we want. But you know, this is a race and this is a competition, and whether you pass them on the inside or the outside, you pass them on pit road or you pass them against the wall. Like, I don't. Yeah, it's unorthodox, and it wouldn't work almost every other time. And the scenario for it to be worth it to work, like, that car's destroyed. The upper control arm, I think, is broke on the right front. I had no brakes coming across the finish line. Like, you know, that's not something that everybody's going to go do now. But I don't know. I don't know what they should do. I'm sure that I will talk to them this week. I'm sure that we will have lots of conversations about it. And I will give my point of view and my opinion, but I'll let them decide, right? They know me well, and they know these scenarios well enough now that we've got a good working relationship with the race control and everybody at NASCAR. So I'm ready to talk and ready to, you know, help push it forward if we need to.
All right, Jordan, go ahead.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. One of the things the drivers had mentioned was the safety crossover gate in like turn 4 there. Briscoe said that he thought you were going to end up in his lap. Did you see the gate? Did you think you were going to hit the gate and that you were going to clip it or anything? Like he just thought you were going to be destroyed.
Yeah, I did. Halfway through the corner, I saw it, and I had not thought about that. But look, when I started, just a quick story, when I started racing back home in 2005-06, the front stretch at our 417 Speedway had a 3 steps you could walk from the grandstands and underneath the flag stand to go out on the track. And my dad had raced there 10 years before, and he saw race trucks get wrecked there and rip the suspension off in that hole. It's about 2 or 3 feet wide. And then we were there one night, and we saw a race truck get destroyed and rip the right front suspension off, getting pinched into that hole. So we went up there during the week and welded a gate, and I was there, and like we drilled we bolted this piece on, and then we welded a gate, big heavy-duty steel gate that went with the flow of the race traffic, right, the race cars. And I knew that. It did not go through my mind as I'm bouncing off the wall, though. I did see it when I was in the middle of the corner, but it was too late, and testament to the wall.
Whether they change the rule or not, the reality is that you just pulled off one of the moves that's going to probably live on for a long time. You know, passing the grass, you know, all these different things, right? Have you thought about that at all? Like,
Sinking in, did we get the track record? Only in qualifying? Yeah. Well, yeah. It's sinking in, and look, I you know, yeah, it's sinking in that like we did something that no one else has ever done. That's hard to do in just the world that we live in 2022, but definitely our sport. I mean, you just look around these pictures on these walls and look at all the drivers that have been here, and it definitely would not work in a modified, but it worked in a next gen car.
So what should the move be called? Passing the grass. This is your move. So what's it called?
I got no idea or opinion. I'll let y'all tell me. I'll check the internet tomorrow.
All right. Okay, we're going to take a few up front, and then I'm going to go to the back just to help with microphones. Okay, go ahead.
Ross, Anthony Romano, WDBJ in Roanoke. When you consider the way that the last 2 races here finished, and even in recent years, what makes Martinsville so susceptible to these exciting, great finishes in these cutoff races?
Yeah, look, our leadership at NASCAR and our partners with our TV broadcast groups, they know what they're doing when they build these schedules. And when they pick these dates and these cutoff races and the different rounds, it's on purpose. And it lives up to the hype every time. And you look at the spring race, single file, couldn't pass, combination of the car being new, the tire, the weather. This tire Goodyear brought moved around a lot, fell off a lot more from my car. I did not have the grip, and I was hanging on for 500 laps today. But you combine that with the track and what we're up against to make it to the championship and just have a chance. This track's on the schedule here for a reason, and it lived up again.
All right, go ahead. I want up here. If you guys can help me by keeping your questions to one question, I'm going to try to get more people, but we also have a race winner we're trying to get in here too who's currently waiting. So go ahead. Go.
Charles Workstar News. One thing I've heard today is the word circus, that this brings a circus kind of atmosphere to racing. What do you think about that?
I think we've been crashing race cars here for I don't know how long this place has been open. Is it 75 years? Or is it, 75 years we've been crashing cars, and I just crashed another car. So that's how I look at it.
All right, we're going to go upstairs to the press box, then back downstairs. Go ahead, press box.
Bruce Meyer with Speed Sports. If you look at the finish, at least from this viewpoint, it almost looked like a cross between Herbie the Love Bug and Plumber. From your viewpoint, the in-car camera looks pretty spectacular. But you had a really good chance to see the video from up top. Yes, you did set the track record according to what we figured out.
I have seen a clip on a cell phone of the front-facing streaming camera, and then I saw walking in the media center here on someone's laptop the shot from like above the grandstands where the spotters. It looks like probably where my Brandon McReynolds was standing up there with his jaw wide open. He didn't know what to say, and nobody did. Yeah, I've seen just a quick clip, and I can't believe that I'm the guy driving that Moose car. To be honest, I mean honestly, I can't believe it's me in there.
All right, we're going to come back downstairs. We'll go to Seth.
Seth Eggert, kickingtires.net. Ross, is this something that would have been possible in the Gen 6 car versus the next gen car?
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't have a clue.
Okay, we're going to go to Michael in the back.
Michael Massey, front stretch. Ross, all season, many drivers have said, and many analysts and whatnot have said that you won't make it out the playoffs because you made people mad and all that. But here you are. You made it. Nobody really paid you back or anything. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I will tell on myself a bit. That last pit stop, we beat the 11 off pit road, and I messed up into 3, a lap or 2 into the restart, and locked the left front. I was having issues with that, and locked my rears and locked the left front, and I was in a bad spot. And he moved me out of the way entry of turn 3, so I returned the favor into 1. He returned the favor. I returned the favor. We body slammed off of 4, and Phil Surgeon keyed up and said to think neutral, and I just couldn't see how me being in front of him that I would finish the race and have even a chance to transfer. So he got back position on me, and I got in line behind him, and I thought we are perfectly capable of running with him, and we only have to be within 3 spots, they were telling me. To be 2 to be safe. And he just started passing cars, and he passed one after the other to the other. It was, he took me to school, and it's something that I'll never forget, that in that moment I had full confidence that I could match him. I needed, 15, 20 laps of that or less, and he passed 5 cars, and I passed 0. I passed 1 later, 2 later, but I was still too many out. And so that's something that I will never forget, the fact that I had full confidence, and he put on a clinic of passing here, getting everything out of his car. His car was not driving great, but he was able to carry it in that moment, and I couldn't do it. So that is something I will work to be better at. I will strive to be a better race car driver in those moments. I could not put my car in position how it needed to make lap time and to pass people, especially. I could kind of make lap time, but I could not pass, and he could. So watching that was painful. And we had just traded blows, back and forth, a couple times, and it was scary. So everything that I've learned though this year in my career all went into getting us here throughout this entire season, throughout all these playoffs. Like, we are no fluke. This is our arrival, and we have everything we need to compete at this level.
Okay, we're going to go to Steven in the back and then up front to Mark. Go ahead, Steven.
Steven Toronto, CBS Sports. Ross, I took a look at your car on pit road after the race. The entire right side's all used up. There's chunks of the outside wall and the wheel wells. Is there any future for that car outside of being a museum piece, or is that just going to have to be preserved?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's up for Justin and Ty and Tony Lunders and Darian Grubb to decide. Look, it was some hard hits. It didn't feel great. So the upper control arms or the control arms might both be broken on the right front. They'll have to take it all apart and measure everything as far as the chassis goes. And we've got a great group with GM and Chevrolet to do that. So the great thing about these cars is that if it's not bent, we can race it next year. It wasn't going to Phoenix either way, so I knew that. But yeah, I'm not sure. Obviously everything that's got a scratch on it is coming off and will never be raced again, and will be spread out to remember this moment, right? The last lap, the last corner. I know that'll be the focus, and I hope that this takes NASCAR to the number one moment on SportsCenter, right? Like, look, if we're gonna do it, let's go all the way, but let's not forget about the path of Trackhouse to get here and how unorthodox we are. How we took a building in a team, and then we brought in another team to build this team as a family. And we've got more buy-in on the shop floor than I've ever witnessed in a race team. And I'm so proud to get to do it with this group. That we'll spread the bits and pieces left from this car out and try to give everybody a little token to remember this night. Bigger than the last lap, just remember the fact that we are putting ourselves in position to just have a shot at a championship, and that's all we ask for.
Thanks, Ross.
Yep.
All right, we're going to come up front to Mark and take our final question.
Mark Garrow, PRN, congratulations, making the Final Four. Your reaction when you talked about a moment ago about looking at the big screen, saw Justin going crazy, but so you do this thing, you bang against the wall, you come flying through there like Superman. When you finally realized, like, it actually worked, right? So you committed to it. You don't know if it's going to work, but when you finally realized it worked, what was your first gut emotional reaction?
Complete mayhem in the car. Phil Surgeon keyed up and said, "You did it. We did it. We're in." And it's wild that my brain, thinking back through those moments of what all happened, and I saw the 11 out my window net across the line. I was looking at him, and then I felt me hitting something, and I hit the 6. So I knew it, but it did not comprehend. And then I realized, all right, I need to stay up against the wall in turn 1. So all that time, my radio's silent as far as I remember. And I looked up, dropped the net, and I saw him, but I like, "Tell me, boys," and Phil Surgeon keyed up, and I just lost my mind. I was screaming and fist pumping, and I've learned my lesson. I don't punch the dash anymore. That hurts. Carbon fiber, all those gauges, they hurt. But the bars, and I just lost my mind all the way around pit road. And look, I've made a lot of mistakes in this sport, and I've had some congratulations at times when we win and stuff. Definitely Coda, my first truck win, my first Xfinity win. I'm going to say I got more congratulation claps from industry crew and people and mechanics coming down pit road. It was unreal. And so that, whether they were congratulating me for the wildness of it or that they were genuinely happy, I'm not sure, but I'm going to take it that I had more people make it a point to walk out of their pit boxes to physically acknowledge me. That means as much to me as anything. This garage, the word was used earlier, circus. I use the word circus. We are a traveling circus, and I'm proud of it. And I'm proud to be in this circus. And I'm proud of my brothers and sisters that I go to battle with, and they might get mad at me. And that's some of the stuff I've talked about earlier in the years. It's been wild to race against my heroes. All right, they're left, they're right, they're forward, they're back. It's the craziest thing has been when they've been mad at me. So I've had crew members be mad at me this year, and that's the most humbling experience that I've ever experienced. So having more acknowledgement or more smiles my way, and whether it was because it was crazy or not, I don't really care. I'm going to take it. I don't get many from the garage, and just them acknowledging that, and whether it was good or bad on their end, they acknowledged it, that they smiled and gave me a thumbs up, and I'll take it.
All right, Ross, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you the best of luck next weekend in Phoenix.
Thank you. Thank y'all.